We settled? We good? Oh, is there 1 2 1 2? Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Yep. All right, we in it. All right, we in it. We doing it. Yo. Sausage Boys, this is it.
Hey.
The Sausage Boys podcast. G'day guys, it's your host Jackson.
Wait, bro, I think you need to turn it up a bit.
Turn it up a bit. Turn it up a bit. Turn it up a bit. Say some shit. Say some shit.
All right.
They hearing you, bro. You're coming through. And of course, that you hear right there, questioning my audio technical abilities, is your boy Big Voo.
Yes, sir.
How are you, Big Voo?
I'm very good. How you boys?
I'm good. I'm good all the time.
You might
Keeping
wanna
it
put
crispy
up,
is obviously our boy. It's our boy Pimple.
Hey. Wait, I don't think K-Dot is coming through. Is K-Dot here?
K-Dot, are you coming through? Number 3.
Am I coming through?
You coming through?
Beep.
This is K-Dot, right? I think this is K-Dot.
Yeah, he's coming through.
Yow!
Don't worry about it, guys.
Alright.
He's coming through. Everyone's coming through.
Yeah, so
we
this is
got
the callback episode to last week's where Big was a bit out of it talking about how he was bullied.
Yeah, I was
Were you bullied,
raped.
Big?
I was raped
Gosh.
Really?
I guess
Yes.
that's a form of bullying.
by Michael Jackson.
Is rape a form of bullying? What was this classified as bullying? Mom, I got bullied today.
Is that? Yeah. Well, Big, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, but
Boys will be boys.
yeah, boys will be boys, I guess.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, huh?
Sausage boys will be sausage boys.
Sausage boys will be sausage boys.
Man, off to a good start.
No, Big, were you ever bullied?
Well, he was raped.
Yeah, I was raped by Michael Jackson, kid, McCulkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Just off pod before we started, Big actually said that I would look like Macaulay Culkin if I stopped taking care of myself in X amount of years. He's 40 now.
I think give it like
40.
2 years.
I saw you twitching as you were about to say something. I was not expecting 2 years. Even, when you hear something and it kind of hits a bit too close to home, you try and play it off like it's
You're
a
like,
little...
yeah, that's funny. I probably would look like him.
I legitimately
Yeah.
would look like Macaulay Culkin. I legitimately
So
would.
he's 40 years old.
He's
Yeah.
40 years old.
Actually, yeah, he put it on Twitter like, I'm 40 now. I'm like, who gives a fuck, man?
No, he
Just
said,
commenting that.
what he said was, want to feel old, I'm 40 years old.
Dang.
Well, I
Which is-
didn't feel anything.
I kind of felt it because, even I was watching those movies as a kid. Did you watch Home Alone?
Yeah, of course.
What was that, 90s or 2000s?
I think it was 2000. I think it was 2000. I think he got the Richie Rich back in like the
It couldn't have been
90s.
2000 because he's 40 now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He's
so it
like
would have been
10
what, like 10, 12 when
so
he
it
did
must
those?
have been 1990.
No, but it was like a trilogy, right? He had
Yeah, there were a few. There were
sequel,
like, what,
yeah.
3 Home Alones?
Yeah, I think it was 3 Home Alone. So I think like 2004 maximum.
2004, maybe the last one.
We would have been
Yeah.
24 at the time of recording. It was 2004.
Wait. So when was he born? So he's 40 now. He was born in 1980.
It was shot in the 1990s. I'm telling you, bro.
So
Wait.
Macaulay Culkin's 24 when he shot those movies.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
He's got a young face, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then
Gosh.
right after that crack, and then he looked like 40 now.
What a man.
Yeah.
What a man.
Have
Macaulay.
we been
Yeah.
home alone before? Does antics actually happen like that?
Most of the time, it's just watching Ready, Steady, Cook and masturbating.
Imagine if that was the new Home Alone. The modern day Home Alone.
Australian Home Alone. No, Australian TV. Do you remember when you had a sick day?
Oh, yes. It was the Ready, Steady, Cook, wasn't it?
Ready, Steady, Cook, Ellen
Ellen. Oh, classic.
dancing, abusing her. What are they?
What's up with this guy?
What is Ellen? Is she an energy vampire? Does she like get energy from her staff, her underage staff that she abuses, and then
She's doing something right. She's on, I think, all the time, every single day.
she's on fire, bro?
She's on fire. She's being funny. She's being energetic. She's dancing all the time.
She's doing something right.
I think the biggest conspiracy is that Ellen keeps her youth and her energy from drinking children's blood. I think that's one of the biggest conspiracy theories out there.
I think that's what Michael Jackson did.
He had the kid's blood.
Yeah, he sucked the blood out of Macaulay Culkin. That's why he looked the way he does now.
Gosh, what if there's something to it?
Yeah,
Could
bro.
it be done ethically?
Michael, whatever Michael was doing, he was not looking good.
Yeah,
He was not looking good about 30 years into it. I don't know. When was Thriller released? Because that's the last time I saw a good photo of.
I think
Then
that
it
was
went downhill from there.
Yeah, I think Thriller was like 80s, huh? The end of 80s, I think. It was like 1991.
Thriller was
Maximum.
probably the
I'd say,
80s.
yeah, I think Thriller was back in the 80s because
What about the rest of the actors in the music video? They weren't looking too good either in that Thriller music video.
They weren't looking good. No, I
Yeah.
hear they were malnourished. Malnourished? Malnourished.
who?
I think they were just overworked.
Who?
Michael,
Oh,
MJ. You seen that Thriller video?
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like- he was even looking pretty bad in that, wasn't he? He was on a steady
Yeah,
decline.
even towards the end, like it shows him kind of get progressively worse. Like he's almost aging as the video's going on.
They shot that video over like 5 years. What happened? Was it like prescribed drugs? Is that what happened to Michael?
I think it was. I think it was was it sleep medication to help him sleep at night?
No, I think I think it was something
I
to.
wonder why he had trouble sleeping at night.
'Cause he's tired from dancing and performing and being a great entertainer.
You'd think he'd be able to sleep like a baby.
I think he'd be able
But he
to
was
sleep
too
like a
busy
9-year-old.
sleeping with.
Imagine if that was just a thing, like just sleeping with a whole bunch of kids. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with sleeping with children?
Like sleeping in your room.
Sleeping, nothing else. You're just asleep with children
I don't
and
think
you're
there's
a
anything wrong
40-year-old.
with that, but it's never just. You could never. You know what I mean? People are looking at that going like, people are people. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna do something weird.
But what if he's the one guy that's actually cool? He's like, no, I'm just a kid. I'm just like these guys. I have no sexual urges. I just like sleeping with children. It's like a sleepover party.
Mm.
And if it was completely innocent, would you be okay with your kid going over to Michael Jackson's place?
I would never be
He knew
okay
he was
with.
fine.
I would never be okay with my kid staying in a grown person's house.
Even if there was nothing wrong with that grown person?
Jesus, man, no, I don't think so. Because you'd never know, would ya?
Yeah. I mean, look, I see some FBI agent out there already. So we
Yeah.
better wrap this up.
The Sausage Boys. Hey, it's the Sausage Boys.
We're sponsored by cigarettes.
You're on it, rap.
I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, you know what? Some. This is so funny. It keeps playing through my head, and I mean, I was gonna say it off pod,
Yeah.
but this is hilarious. Karim always does this thing to me where he kind of like. He'll say something and it'll slow burn over the course of like 6 months, and then it's just etched into my psyche kind of. And I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, the Larry David show,
Yeah.
and Karim said to me, "It's funny watching Curb because you slowly become more like Larry David the more you watch it."
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember saying that?
Yes.
And
So you started watching the Michael Jackson documentary. And I started having kids in my room. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong. I'm just sleeping with children.
6 months later, yeah. So like that Larry David thing, and then I was like, I'm not really feeling. I feel like Larry David is very cynical, and I'm not necessarily a cynical person, but
But you become more cynical. You finding yourself to be more cynical watching
maybe cynical is not the right word, but I'll let you be the judge. So here's the story. What
Yeah.
happened was, I went clothes shopping, and I was walking around Newtown and going through just store to store, and I had these over ear headphones on, and I was listening to another podcast, not Sausage Boys. That'd be narcissistic.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't listening to Sausage Boys
yeah.
episode 3. I definitely wasn't. Definitely.
So
But
as I was-
hilarious, let's say this hilarious podcast with 3 boys about hot dogs. Or something like that.
so yeah, so I was walking around these stores.
Some girl over here is like, are you listening to yourself? Is that you?
Is that your voice in those headphones? Sidebar, I do that way too often, and actually one of my friends called me out for that in high school because at the time I was listening to a song that I've written, and I was like, you listen back to, you guys know, you listen back to your own shit because you're trying to work out if it works in a context, if it works through those speakers, rah, rah, rah.
Of course. But those songs were released 2 years ago. So don't know why you're really listening to this and nodding your head and be like, damn, he gets it.
I just need it
This
for
dude
like,
rocks.
I just need it for like validation. And I'm like, yeah, I can do cool stuff. I was walking.
What would you know if Big was just listening to Ronan? Like, just
I
I
swear
swear to
banging.
God, Big does do that. Big goes, I listen to my own shit in the gym to get me pumped up.
Actually, man, that's the only way that I can pleasure myself nowadays.
Your girlfriend's in the next room, like, are you coming to bed, honey?
Yeah, just a second.
Just
They
a
don't like
sec.
that. They don't like that. They don't like that.
You don't like that?
So I was walking around, I was listening to headphones, I was listening to a
So,
podcast.
yeah.
And you know how there's always those people in the clothing stores, especially, and they come up to you and they,
Yo, what's up, big man? Yo, big man. Yo, need any help? He's got these like dead eyes. Dead eyes.
can I help you with anything? You know that, and especially like they've always got like good-looking girls working in those stores trying to flog shit to you.
Yeah.
Overpriced t-shirts. It's like $70 for a t-shirt, but she's hot, so you're like,
Yeah.
well, I'll get two.
So right if I try him on, you just come out of the change room nude all the time. Oh wait.
I misread the situation.
Man.
So I'm in there, and go on, Big.
No, just go on. Just go. I'm just say, man.
No, I'll go on.
Hard to-
So I was in the change room and
Macaulay Culkin walked in.
I look in the mirror and I get really sad because I see Macaulay Culkin looking back at me.
Look in the mirror at home. Look like Macaulay Culkin. My roommate's not home.
Actually,
I end up putting marbles at the bottom of the stairs.
actually, man, when I see McCulkin walked in, I'm like, man, it's gonna be a hee today. There's gonna be a lot of hee today.
Do you think anyone's ever killed themselves purposely by putting marbles at the top of the steps?
There's enough people. Hey, I reckon someone probably has. I reckon people have died in every dumb way.
Yeah. So you're exposing yourself to this innocent girl in the clothes shop.
And she's saying, "Hey, Macaulay Culkin, get out of here!"
I loved you growing up.
And then I'm like, "Hey, I'm not Macaulay Culkin," so I'm walking home listening to my own music, so I can look at myself again and not. No, so I'm in there, and they're coming up, and here's my Larry David thing. So I've got my headphones on, and I'm
Yeah.
listening to this thing, and they come up, and
Yo,
generally.
big man, what you bumping? You bumping that new Meg the Stallion? Wop, wop, wop. Like, it doesn't even go like that. It's an extended version. It's
I
a
love that
remix.
shit. Bum, 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 bum. You look like you play guitar, man. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, yeah, man. I fucking love Creedence Clearwater Revival. So I'm walking around in there, like an attractive woman walks up. She's just going blah, 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 blah.
So you cheated on your girlfriend with her head.
Here's the... Yo, shut up.
Oh,
So walk up. And,
he cheated on you.
Normally what I do is I just get a thumb and like flick my headphone back a little bit over my ear. I'll do that at any time, bro. If someone asks me for money, someone asks me, you know what I mean? Anything,
You
anything.
keep, you keep the one side in, so there's only
keep,
one exposed.
keep the one side on, and and it's just like you should see by that visual kind of language that I don't want that. I didn't even think about it. They walked up, they said something. I didn't even hear them over the volume of the podcast.
And then there's laughter. We did that live studio one, and it was this enormous.
No, so what I
laughter.
did was, you know, when you, well, I mean, I didn't realize it at the time, but in hindsight, it's probably like, hello, like, you know, when you have headphones on and you're just really loud. So I just did that and then turned back to the rack, left the headphone on, and it worked. They left.
So she thinks you're just this autistic guy. He's like, hello! Screaming hello.
Like, I didn't know Macaulay Culkin was autistic.
Man, I think MJ may have actually done it.
No, but there's the thing, dude. There's the thing. I learn't. I went into about 4 or 5 stores
So you
that
start
day.
becoming autistic. This is your realization.
I just left the headphones on and no one could bother me at all.
You
can't
said
get bothered.
hello really loudly to this girl.
I said hello. In hindsight, I think it was a little bit too loud. What if you just turn around? You don't even need headphones for this tip, guys. You just turn around and you go, penis. You just let it go. And I didn't get bothered that whole day because of that.
You just keep the headphones on.
Keep the headphones on, keep looking at the rack.
Gosh. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the clothes. So she calls her manager and escorts me out of the shop.
Yeah, I didn't buy anything, and that's the reason.
And I'm going to court tomorrow. So this is going to be maybe the last episode of the Sausage Boys. So what happens? You just orders out and scream hello with your headphones on. She doesn't
Yeah.
bother you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was sweet. I just yelled at I just yelled at this 16-year-old girl trying to make ends meet. She gets paid on commission.
Yeah, like Larry David, completely.
And I was just like, wow, man, I've just like vicariously become a little bit Larry David just to write him out. Larry David's autistic, right?
Yeah, right. He does something like that, huh?
K-Dot, you and I were actually speaking the other day about like the potential of actually being autistic.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure I'm on the autism spectrum. If anyone
If you had to put a percentage on it.
Oh man, I'm nicely on there.
You fit snugly.
I'm on. I'm not like completely on. Like I've got a nice grip. I think I've got a nice grip on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if they had to cut the bottom 10%, you've still got your job?
Yeah. I've still got it. I'm probably in a good way. I'm probably around maybe 23% on.
That's a good.
That's a
percentage.
nice
yeah,
amount.
that's like 25. At least I say I'll be around that as well.
You think you're on there as well?
Yeah, I think I'm around 25. Sometimes when I get really like.
Well, I'm 26 then.
I'm talking 27 then.
I'm 27. Well, I'm 28 then.
Oh, you wanna?
I'm 29 then.
How much are you big?
I think.
Honestly,
I think I'm around 30%.
well, I was 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy. Get a load of this guy, huh?
Get a load of this guy.
Fucking comedian, huh?
He's actually just bugging out his autism. Can't deal with this guy. Yeah, no, I agreed with you. I kind of thought I was autistic. You know what I think I might be though? After
I'm not autistic. I just really love trains. I just really love trains and watching them. There's nothing wrong with that. And I just can't give eye contact.
Wait, but what is autistic though?
I don't know.
I have fucking no fucking idea, man.
I know that I am it, man.
Imagine all the parents with like autistic kids just crying listening to this podcast. Like it's not a joke.
Imagine if no one actually even knows what it is. It's like, yeah, we actually have no idea.
I legitimately couldn't tell you what it was. If I tried to. I know. I feel like I vibe with it, but I couldn't explain it. I couldn't put it into words. It's more of a vibe. It's more of a vibe than a mental.
Man, actually, man. I think I got a cousin who's a bit. I mean, his was a lot.
He's on the spectrum.
Yeah, he's on. He's on the far end of the spectrum.
Wow.
Actually, I mean, we got this family reunion, right? It was everybody there, and this kid just came up to me like, "Hey, you big?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay," and he
Wanna
just
see my
walked
penis?
away. I'm like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck this kid, man?"
Maybe he hates Asians. I don't know. That was.
He's Asian, what the fuck? But he was like, "Are
Hey,
you
you
big?"
big, right? And then runs away.
Yeah, he's like, "Okay," and then he walked away. I'm like, "What the fuck?" That was the weirdest thing ever.
Was he doing it to everyone?
No, he did it to me because I rarely came back home. So yeah, when I came back home, he just looked straight at me, man. He walked from the door straight to me, like, "Hey, you're big, right?" I'm like, yeah." And he's like, "Oh," and then he walked away, man.
away.
I'm
Maybe
like,
he's just one of
"Jesus."
those guys that can't masturbate until they put a face to the name.
Let's hear that
Big. Ew. Ew.
But yeah, the autism spectrum. I think it a lot of things fall under it. I think you've got ADHD. You have Asperger's.
Wait.
OCD.
If I had to pick, I think I'm OCD, and I think like pattern recognition is the biggest thing for me, and it's so I was hanging out with a mate today, and he put his coffee cup down, lifted it up, drank some, put it down again, and it created a second ring, and they were kind of looping together.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I saw the Olympic rings. Oh my god. Someone send help. if anyone's listening to this, please send help. My friends can't help because they're both autistic.
So you
no,
saw the Olympic two things, and it
I saw the
reminds
two
you of
things.
it.
He lifted it up, put the third one down, and it wasn't like the same
Oh, no.
distance away the third time around, and that kind of bothered me in a way.
I think, man, everybody has some sort of OCD, you know, because the thing is, like it's logical, you know.
I
brain
sure as hell
thing.
don't.
Yeah,
What are you trying to say?
What you trying to say, huh?
You trying to simp me, dog?
the thing is, like, man, if I tell you A B, your brain have already think about C. You know, it's just logical, and you know, your brain will do that no matter what. I think it's like a very severe case of OCD, but I think everybody has some sort of OCD.
Everyone has
like-
a tiny bit, I guess.
There's
Yeah.
that Facebook page, things that are unaesthetic.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got a Cadbury block of chocolate. You know, it comes in like however many pieces, and instead of breaking off a part, they've just bitten
Yeah.
into the corner of it. That's unaesthetic.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all it is. I just want a pretty kind of pattern.
That's I think this today's generation. I think we're becoming more autistic.
What
Because
is it?
I've said in the past, like I think, or being autistic is the next evolution of man.
No,
It's for
this is
everyone
it.
to
This is-
become
have you heard this bit?
more autistic.
No.
This is great.
It would just
Great
make more
theory.
sense because I guess someone with autism, they don't have strong emotions. That's probably one of the biggest benefits of being autistic because you don't feel anything too strong. So let's say if your parents died, you would go to work the next day, and someone would be like, "Oh, how was your day yesterday?" He's like, "Oh yeah, my parents died." Yeah,
But
do
I've
you
got to
have
get
the
those commissions?
yeah, exactly? But you can just go on with your life.
Mm.
You don't really have any strong emotion. You're able to be more productive. And usually people with autism have special interests and are usually highly skilled in certain areas.
But then we talk about that, but then you've got like this Reddit community that are all about My Little Pony and whatever.
I don't even know if that falls under autism. I think that
Yeah.
falls under creepiness.
Yeah.
Or like something happened
you
when
have
they
to
were
have-
young.
You have to, you have to some kind of defect though. I
To be
think.
into that legitimately,
But maybe
something
that's-
must have happened as a
Maybe
kid.
that's just so far out of my realm of possibility that that's what I have to kind of attribute it to.
Man, I think
Potentially.
I think, man, like I think because human, you know, like society now is just too complicated. There's so many things, you know, like, and there's no one stopping you. There's a clear line if you talk about the law, right? You kill somebody and it's wrong. But if you like furries, you like, you know, having sex while wearing a costume,
Yeah.
it doesn't fall to anything. It's just weird. you
Yeah,
know?
it's just it's just weird. It's not even necessarily autistic or anything. It's
Yeah.
just
It
kind
doesn't
of
cause
creepy.
any damage though,
yeah,
does it?
Yeah,
to-
it doesn't cause any damage, but just weird. People just creep me out, you know. I think but it's not wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a furry. There's nothing wrong with being a brony.
Yeah,
It's just kind of strange.
It's like, yeah, that's a bit weird, but that's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it's literally not hurting anyone at all.
but we think it's weird, but there's a big community. They don't think it's weird, so really,
I think they
I
think it's a
think
bit
they know.
weird.
I think they know
they're
it's weird.
aware that it's a
Really?
I
bit
think they know it's
strange.
weird. And
Yeah.
that's why it's like a subsect of people that are like that. They know that it's a community. And that's why it is a community as well. It's not the mass. It's that little community. You know what I mean? And they're like, we are abnormal.
okay. So if I'm not wrong, being weird is
It's
like
being gay, right?
Hey.
Is that what we're talking about? Weird?
But like being weird is liking something that most people don't. You know, if you do something that is not common, that is weird. But if you have a big enough community, does it as weird? You know,
I
Is it
guess
weird
it's kind of
anymore?
like the gay rights movement. I think in the 30s or the 20s, being gay,
Yeah.
I guess socially in the Western world was considered really weird, or you would go to jail for it.
yeah.
But then it became more and more acceptance. Like, hey, we just like this thing.
Imagine like you go to jail for being gay. And then there's just all these gay guys in jail just having the time of their life. They're just having the time of their life
Yeah.
in there. You know what I mean? Drop the soap.
Drop this
Oh,
up.
no.
Oops, again.
Oh no.
And that's what all those myths about dropping the soap is. It's
They're
just
like, don't drop the soap. Oh, Jerome, you tease. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because have you ever met a straight person that's gone to jail? See, I think that
I've
pause
never met a straight
indicates it.
person that's come out of jail. No. I don't know. I was like, I backed out halfway through that, and I was just like, do I really want to be talking shit about people that have come out of jail?
Yeah, man, furries. I, personally, I think it's weird, but I don't think it's any wrong. You know what I mean? Do your thing. It doesn't it doesn't go against like what do you call it?
Social
Ethics.
norms.
Yeah, social norm. You just bring costume. You know, fucking we have.
It's
Fucking,
just a kink. It's like someone who's doing their BDSM or something, and it goes to like BDSM expos to get whips and chains and the gimp suits.
Bro, if you go to like Germans and you look into like those stores, it's fucking weird. You know, fucking European are weird. They have I saw a video, right? This chick, she's spreading her leg and she put like 4 rings.
I think I've seen the same video.
You talk about the
Yeah.
Nazi symbol.
No.
Wait, how the rings
So she put-
assigned? Are they
No, no.
symmetrical or?
No, there is a slight curve at the top, and they go around. And there's
but like she put 4 rings on like the side of her vagina, and
You
then
can say it.
and then she zap it, and then she zap it, and then she's like getting off of it, and there's a dude as well putting like a ring on his cock.
Oh,
Oh yes,
Wait,
yeah.
what's the better
Zap
favorite
them.
Pokemon is Pikachu. I'm gonna say it right now.
what's this?
Nah, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, man, like those are weird as well, but you don't.
So
you don't
she's
see people-
zapping herself.
Yeah, and then see a dude as well. And he was like a cock
So this
ring.
dude,
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
okay.
he's a friend of mine.
and it was with my fiance last night,
And
and
for some reason, I watched the whole video, and he's zapping himself, and you can see him coming as well. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is
it's hot.
yeah.
I've always thought that. I've always thought I never want to get that complicated. You know what I mean?
Imagine if that's your thing, and that's the only thing that gets you off. Like, people always make the joke where it's like, I listen to my music because that's the only thing that gets me off. But what if that was the case? And that's, I think, what it is most of the time. Like, at least with the furries, this is the thing that does it for them. And it's
You
like
know
the
what?
Louis
You know,
C.K.
actually-
bit where it's like, there's kids do it for me.
I was watching this thing and it was like this compilation of kind of like furry videos and people talking about being a furry and furry culture and whatever.
We don't really care that much about furries. I don't know why you're doing all this.
I just want to talk about it. It's important.
So I bought a furry outfit, and it feels good.
It was this furry person. They were talking about like furry culture and whatever, and they were saying, "Here's the weird thing. Like, I just want to dress up like this, and like that's my identity and everything like that. It's not about sexuality or anything like that. It's just a way of life. There is a subsect that have made it like that." And the interviewer was like, "So, you don't have sex in the furry costume?" He's like, "I have sex in the furry costume."
That's all I do in it.
But that's beside the point.
There's the whole dog bowl thing as well.
What's that? I don't know about that.
Oh, part of like the furry community is they want to act like animals, and usually they defecate and urinate in like a corner of a hotel room. Like when they have the furry conventions, they have to have the room set up to accommodate being a furry.
I guess they're not really causing any harm, are they?
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean-
almost like an excess of freedom and liberty at that point. Like, I don't know. They're not doing any harm. I'm sure they're contributing to the economy in various ways.
Well,
They're
I
doing
mean,
their thing.
I found
The amount of times I watch their
way-
videos,
I mean,
they're contributing a lot to
They're
it.
contributing to a certain bank.
But like I found way worse things on Pornhub. You know what I mean? There's like this video, right?
The fact that you say found.
I stumbled across. Okay.
And I watched all of it, and
So there's like this video, right? It's cacao thing.
yes, cuckolding.
What is it? I've never heard of that.
So yeah, there was
Where can
this-
you tell Jackson about it? Why I'm in the corner and
So
watch?
yeah, basically cacao, for anybody who don't know about this, cacao is like enjoying seeing your wife being fucked by somebody else. And there was this video, right? There was this dude, he's filming his wife, being fucked by another dude, and then
What ethnicity was the dude?
I don't know.
He may have been
She,
colored.
I think she was a bit like Russian, and he was I don't know. I think he's like Armenian, so he has beard and stuff. But
What, 3 white people in this cuckolding video.
No, I don't think I think the wife looked more like what I say it. more like Uzbekistan, you know, more like
Yeah.
more black hair. So I think she's right. But the point is, right? So when the other dude come in this chick, right, and she said to her husband like, "Hey, don't worry, I'll save some for you." And then you see the next
I think
scene,
I've seen this
the
video.
dude fucking licked the cum of a pussy. I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, bro, that is way worse than furries, I reckon.
I think I've actually seen this video. Anyway.
Wait, is that gay?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I wish you saw Graham's face. I wish you saw Graham's face.
Yeah, well, if
Okay,
it
that
is, I've got a lot of explaining to do.
Is it? Is it? Over to the board, K Dot.
Oh man, would it be because it's technically a man and a woman, but another man's seed is involved? I think it's just it falls under the category of humiliation, and I think he
Yeah.
gets off by being humiliated. I don't think it's necessarily gay, but it's just a kink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the autism spectrum. I think there's the kink spectrum, and then there's the homosexuality spectrum.
I'm not gay.
But you know
I
what?
just like intercourse with men.
But you know what?
And my husband
But you know.
have a great life together.
I'm not gay, but my husband is.
But the worst part is,
Does your boyfriend know you're gay?
man.
Answer that question, both
wait,
of you.
wait, but
Does your boyfriend know you're gay?
The worst part is I jerked off that video because the wife was really hot. I was like, well, I better just, rewind it back a
I'm just
bit.
gonna look past all of this, and I'm just gonna zone in on her.
But yeah.
But 75% of that video is just the two guys.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but that but there, man, like if you think about that, furries is not that bad anymore. I'm like, fuck, yeah, people have sex in a costume, so fucking what?
Yeah, it's just a kink. I think there's a lot of weird kinks out there.
But
Yeah.
then I kind of feel sorry for the woman in that scenario. Well, not sorry for. Maybe she's into it.
Bro, she was into it. She was, bro. She was into it so much. She was laughing and moaning at the same time. She's like, yeah, she's like, oh, this is so good. Yeah.
Gosh, that is wild.
And she's like, oh, and then he come in like, oh, don't worry, baby, I'll save some for you. And then you can see at the end, the dude just licked the cum off of the pussy. I'm just like, Jesus
He's like,
fucking Christ.
All done.
Yeah.
But that's what gets him off.
Yummy.
That's what he's into. Yummy.
Yeah. It sent chills down my spine. Hey.
But then there's scat porn, and then you've got severe BDSM, where it's just literally people getting beaten.
Yeah, I also found another video.
I also stumbled across.
It's called I think they called it titty torturing. Which is just like twisting titties as hard as he can.
That is so intense to
yeah,
look at. That's,
yeah. You
doesn't do a thing.
Twist the titty as hard as can, slap it, back, and it's like
It's like completely red, like rope
yeah,
and
it's
stuff
like,
like that.
Jesus Christ, man.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing that gets me off, so...
I was driving and there was like a Triple J hack program on. It's just like the news program. They go in depth.
Why
with
does the
certain
Triple
stories.
J presenters...
I was hacking out one of the
the
Triple
two,
J presenters.
the two hacks.
They were talking about they had like a guest on and they were talking about like performing, what's it called, like when you're hurting each other.
Is that BDSM?
I'm not sure
Or
if it's BDSM. I think there was even more of a broad kind of word for it or whatever.
Torturing, I think it's
But even
torturing.
like hanging people up and shit like that doesn't necessarily have to hurt them, but it's just like a,
They're into pain associated with
I
pleasure.
suppose so, yeah, ropes and shit like that. And they were talking about like this dude, whoever he was, I think it was in Melbourne or something like that. He was talking about like classes so you could come and learn how to do that in a safe way. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be fucking permanently damaged from that shit and whatever.
That's like skin where the back, you kind of got the hooks through the skin in your back.
Ooh.
Is that what it is? That's full on.
Jesus
I don't think they were
Christ,
talking
man.
about hooks. They were talking specifically about rope, kind of tying
Yeah.
people up, masks and shit like.
Something I think I reckon I know the name. There was like a Japanese word for it, isn't it?
All for the tying someone up with a rope.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
For there's like a whole like art thing. So there's like how should you tie it in like a pattern You know, so
What?
yeah, so hydrogen tie and pattern, and then in Japan, I think you can tie the whole up and then you hang them up from the ceiling. They're literally floating on the ceiling, but
That's what I'm
Japan
talking
are
about,
into
like-
some interesting kinks. Those blokes.
Yeah, 100%. 100, and it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like I never want to go too far down there because
That's why I don't want to visit Japan because I'm scared I might like it.
maybe it's like digging a hole in the ground. The further you get, you realize you can't get back up. You know, you just keep digging this same hole down further and further and further. And like, imagine being into that, and then that's the only way you could kind of get any kind of pleasure in that way. Then you,
yeah,
It's that Black Mirror episode where the guy who was got off to pain, and then he literally
Oh.
has like surgery done on him to like
Yeah,
remove his limbs and stuff like that.
yeah.
Pays, I think, a homeless guy to beat him up.
Oh
or
yeah, I
something.
think we were talking about that when he enjoyed pains and he
Yeah.
put the thing on people to feel their pain. Yeah, that's fucked. Hey,
That was full on. But I guess it's going further and further down that rabbit hole until he dies.
is that what happens in the episode?
Yeah.
Oh well, I don't need to watch it then.
But
Yeah, I guess that's
is there like an end to, I guess, when you're into a specific kink where we go too far?
Imagine like just if you realize you were into it in that moment, you just finally come, and then you're like, oh fuck, now I'm suspended from the ceiling, and I've only got 9 toes.
Because that's the whole what David Carradine and
from
audio erotic asphyxiation.
The guy from In Excess, is that what happened?
I think it's rumored that he was also into that. I
thought
think
that's how he
Robin
died.
Williams is like a bunch of people.
Robin Williams.
Yeah,
really?
I'm pretty sure.
Holy
Robin
shit!
Williams, a comedian.
Yeah, I think
Holy
so. Because he hung
shit.
himself. And then they were all like, I think it may have been... Because he was wearing his wife's underwear when he was found.
What?
Really?
Oh, wait, I wish you kept that up because I bet you anyone that listens to that would have taken that.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
They'll be like, "What the fuck?" And then
Because I'm
Just
going
don't talk
to
about
tell
it.
it straight. Sausage Boy fans are the best fans in the world. I'm going to tell it straight. They are.
Yeah, they're just good blokes.
yeah, but the thing is, like,
I'm going to tell that straight. Now back to being gay.
You know what?
And that's the only thing I'm going to be telling straight this episode. And outside the episode.
You know what I want to know is like, what caused that? What caused a person to like being tortured? You know, is it because like childhood trauma?
I think it's during your formative years where certain things happen during your like sexual maturity, and that kind of basically sets out what you're going to be into. So they may have kind of, I guess, experimented with that or stumbled across that at an early age.
Okay.
Or like even like with the furry people, like My Little Pony may have been on in the background when they were 17 or during this really susceptible age.
No, I think you either born with like those things, or you don't. It's like, you know. It's
You
like,
think it's like a what
like
a
being
nature
gay? You know,
thing?
you either born, you know, like being tortured, or you don't. Because most of us, I mean, look, I grew up. When I was 16, 17, I saw a lot of weird porn, but that doesn't make me want to go, you know, fucking lick cum off my girlfriend pussy. You know, it just, I think you're either born with it or you don't. I think it's like a defect in like a gene.
You think
somewhere.
it's something that happens at birth? That,
Yeah.
Like I guess when you're being molded as an individual, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
susceptible to be able to find pleasure from this thing.
Yeah.
I think it might be a mix of both. I think there's definitely like part of nurture in there that you may find pleasure associated with pain, and mixed with stumbling across a certain video when you were 17.
We've touched on 2 things. We've touched on like the physical pain, but we also talked about when you mentioned that video, like that
Pain it does to your parents,
that
and they have to
cuckold.
deal with that.
that cuckold kind of pain,
It's weird, hey.
the emotional kind of pain. People are attracted to both.
Yes.
Yeah, but
You know what I
like,
mean? There's
Yeah.
2 things out there, and then it's like, where does someone kind of pick up those tendencies?
Yeah, but thing is, like you. What I meant by saying you born with it is like you grew up, right, and you found that, and then you liked it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like.
But it was already written in the stars. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
A bit of you was like, I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
This is
But-
going to
but,
do it
yeah.
for me. This is what I've been looking for my whole life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can see it, but we don't have the urge to do it. You know.
That's a good point.
They saw it and like a switch, like bam, and they're like, "That's what I like." You know.
Yeah, and I guess so many people out there may stumble across My Little Pony and be like, that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. But some people are like, huh?
Well, we're talking about what do people like. I listen to, you know what I mean? You know, I listen to fucking this thing and I'm like, that slaps. This thing does not. But even when it comes to music, you know what I mean? Like Drake, for instance, one of the biggest artists in the world. Took me quite a while to get around that. For the longest time, I mean, being like a 14, 15-year-old, I was just like...
Because you didn't know you were gay until you were, 16? And then you started liking an artist like Drake.
Yeah. So that was the lowest point.
That's the lowest one we've had in Sausage Boys history. Is Jackson's coming out.
I was gonna say that was the lowest point in my life. But I remember a friend turning me onto it, and then it was like,
what turning you
yeah, I
on
know.
to
I was
it.
gonna go there as well.
Yeah,
But I was like, I'm not a hack.
well, I am. So
So
my friend was turning me on to it. I was turned on when I saw that
Drake.
Jewish African American Canadian
I
man.
was like, he's so many things, isn't he?
He's so many things.
I think that's why
yeah.
he's got a beard. He's bald. Everything. Drake has literally
Wait, you're
everything
talking.
going on.
Imagine someone's like, yeah, I love Drake, and it's just an artist like Common or something like that. Yeah, you know, Drake with the nice thin beard and balls and really conscious guy.
Drake with
I
the
love Drake.
cornrows, really skinny, looks like a dog. Always talking about weed. No, but like when I remember my friend turning me onto Drake. Go on. I remember.
They like kind of mix opera with rock, and yeah, very flamboyant frontmen.
Yeah.
The group Drake, I absolutely love them.
How's when someone doesn't know a group or something like that, or even an artist? You mentioned an artist name, they're like, yeah, I know them. Oh man, I love them, and you're like, it's a solo artist.
Oh, that's the best thing. I remember even someone, I was like, oh yeah, do you like Brockhampton? He's like, yeah, no, I love him. He's really cool. Love a lot of his songs.
I love Brock.
Yeah, I love Brock. He's a great guy.
I love Brock. He's my favorite Pokemon character.
Do you like Party Next Door? Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I really like them.
No
you like
one's
The
favorite
Weeknd?
Pokemon character is Brock. Brock was
I love Brock. Brock was a womanizer.
Brock was not a womanizer. He was a simp.
Oh, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Really? Really though?
Brock was a
Really
simp.
though?
But like getting back to that original point.
Is Brock racist? Is he a racist stereotype of a black man made
Brock's
by
not.
the anime? It's like, oh, I love these white women. Look at their hot eyes. I just
Well,
can't get enough of
Who
these
else
white
was Brock
women.
meant to fall in love with? He was the only black character on the whole card. Oh no, Brock. But was
Imagine a cock-holding scene with like Ash. Who's the redhead girl that is like
Pikachu.
Brock having sex with Pikachu is Ash just in the corner.
Oh man.
Pika!
And then you see Ash like though, she's like covering his ear, just crying. She's like
in the corner crying.
crying.
Like, yes. That's the only thing gets me off. We've got down a rabbit hole. Where were we before that?
Drake.
Yeah.
So I was gay at 16.
So when my friend turned me on to Drake, I've done it 3 times now. I just don't have a better way to phrase it. So when my friend put me on to Drake,
yeah.
go on.
Got nothing.
Corinne's just snickering back at the back of the classroom like a fucking 10-year-old. And you know what? I love it. I love it.
He put you on Drake's peg.
So I was listening to Drake Peg Mafia. Drake's Peg. He put me on to Drake's Peg. So
did you enjoy it when you're on his peg?
but even like a song or an artist that you get turned on to, there's social circumstances that do that, right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's not just innately that it slaps. There are social circumstances that do that to you.
if everyone around you says this is so cool, and you're listening to it like as a group, and it's like everyone's vibing with it. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's so cool. I love this artist.
Yeah, I never. So like, what would it? Marilyn Manson. All right. What if you're into Marilyn Manson and you're growing up and you're like, yeah, I'm hardcore, and that's how you identify. And you're like, I want to be more hardcore. I want to be more hardcore. Subconsciously, you're like, I gotta tie some bitch up.
I wonder if there's like a correlation between people into BDSM and into hardcore music,
I think there would be.
emo music.
I think there would be because you walk into like a piercing place,
True.
and that's the shit that they're playing. They're not playing like fucking Jack Johnson, are they?
But if they just were.
Hey, bro, they got fedoras on. They got fedoras
It's
and
like
stretchers.
sandals. But that is a real thing. Like, I guess enjoying something because a whole bunch of people around you also enjoy it, or being pressured or coerced into enjoying something because you want to fit in.
No, but that I don't think, you know, for like King, that doesn't cross over to like high school, because nobody in high school is pushing you to like fucking ponies, you know.
What's to go with choking?
I don't know.
Man, sometimes you just can't get the words out, and you just have like a mind blank.
Knees weak. Yeah. What is the go with choking? Why does that happen?
I guess it's
I think for women especially, they just, you know, they like to be dominant, you know, because
they want a dominant man.
yeah, because if you think back in the days, right, like in
If you look at all the cave
Wildebeest
artworks,
days.
it's like the caveman choking the cave woman.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like back in the days, man. As an ape man, right? The male used to be like fucking violent.
That's right.
you
They
know?
would smack the women
Yeah.
over the head and take her.
Yeah, literally. I think you would saw like somebody, the male would grab the female by the hair and just drag her. You know?
I wonder if that's something that people can be into, like caveman play.
Oh, I said it very at the beginning of this podcast. There's enough people in the world for it to be. I think everything's been done.
Yeah.
I think
Everything.
everything's
Yeah.
every.
I've
kind
searched a few things on Google and nothing's come up.
Caveman.
Yeah,
play.
because they're illiterate, bro.
Also, it's my dyslexia. Yeah.
You know what else actually? So I was reading an article by Mia Khalifa.
That couldn't understand a word. If it's got these glasses
with all that dick
on
in the
it.
mouth.
Man, she's just like a great writer. Really, really just has a gift of writing.
She could very well be.
Yeah.
You read the article, didn't you?
No. I'm not a simp, dude. I read the article and so what it was kind of speaking about was like she was speaking about porn, prostitution. I kind of just went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. So the only hole I went down that night.
Speaking of furries, I kind of went down this rabbit hole and it was like all about like feminist views on prostitution and kind of like where they kind of. So it was saying there are two sects. I realized, you know what's.
There are two sex, two genders.
I've realized recently how much I say sex, and it doesn't help just with like, I'm not sure if it's the accent or some shit, but like sex. I really have to pronounce the T. Sect.
Sex. Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
To get it across.
Sect.
Sect.
Say it,
Sects.
Sipien.
So like there's the two sects of feminism. And
And there's two genders. Get used to it. Deal with it. What's that me that always goes around? There's two genders, two this, two that. Deal with it.
what are you, barbecue or tomato sauce?
Barbecue tomato sauce.
I like mayonnaise. Get the fuck out.
So yeah, so there's two sects.
These two sects of feminism, and it's like their views on like prostitution. The first being that like, so we talk about WAP, right? It's a perfect example. So this kind of thing is empowering, blah 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 blah. Kind of like say like I can just use my body and my sexuality to kind of like gain advantage in this world. The other side is saying, well, no, that's actually not the case. Excuse me. So it's more like you're being kind of subjected to the world as it is, and you're being abused for your sexuality or whatever.
Interesting.
I just found that a very
Yeah.
interesting thing, because it's like there are...
It's that whole take where it's like, oh, look at Lauryn Hill. She was able to become big and successful just because of her talent, and she never had to expose herself or sexualize herself. And there's that whole kind of take
Yeah.
and that way of looking at it. And then
Because
there's
she
a, like,
navigated kind of that thing. But I'm sure if you were to look at the rest of the charts around that time, especially in hip hop, she would be the exception for sure.
yeah.
She'll be such an exception in that case. Yeah, and then when it comes to that, like, is it... Yeah, I don't know. You have this massive division. It's like, all right, they're both kind of valid points, but at the end of the day, like, everyone kind of comes into this world and plays their strengths. The system is fucked. Let's agree on that.
Yeah.
It's not fair, but, like, you can play towards your strengths kind of thing. Everyone can kind of play towards their strengths.
I guess if it, like for an R&B singer, it was always more profitable if they had their album cover or music video shirtless. Like you think of a Trey Songz or you think of a D'Angelo. Were they taken advantage of? Or were they kind of showing some sort of sexual empowerment? And I guess it's the same. It's the same with women. An artist like Nicki Minaj,
Yeah.
who's very prone to basically selling her body and what she looks like physically.
It's interesting because it's like, all right, can I use all my strengths, all my God-given strengths as I come into this world? And then why is there persecution about that, or some kind of why, you know what I mean? Like why are they getting persecuted for that?
I think it's the whole idea of kind of they are using these things, using their the way they look to make up for their lack of talent. I don't think there's usually someone out there who's extremely talented and extremely out there exposing themselves or selling themselves.
But thing is, man, that is also work on your strength as well. For somebody, the strength is the mental ability,
Yeah.
but for somebody, it's the physical. You know what I mean? So for the longest time ever, right? We used to say the man is the strength and the woman is the beauty.
Yeah.
So I don't see
That's true.
I don't see anything wrong with a woman using her body as as an what do you call it, a way
It's like a
to get
selling
ahead.
point.
Yeah.
Because sex sells,
Yeah.
and being good looking and
Yeah.
appealing sells, and people want to click on it and look at it.
Yeah, well, like you don't want to be looking at. You watch a movie that goes for 2 hours. You don't want the main person to necessarily be
Ugly.
way ugly. Yeah, you don't want it to be ugly.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing about a lot of British TV shows is they tend to have really unattractive looking leads and characters. And I think that's almost like it's somewhat of a sign of class. It's where they don't have this perfect looking lighting or these beautiful looking models playing a detective.
That's true. Maybe people are becoming more wise to that. And in comedy, I think that's a big kind of thing. That's a big thing in comedy because it's like it kind of adds to the funny in a certain way, and it's like respectable and rah 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 rah. Whereas when it comes to music, for instance, it's so because it's about the audio file, and then we're also going to put this little bit of promo with it, which is the video.
yeah.
Yeah, but
How do we
things
make
like-
that more
yeah.
attractive?
Yeah, but things like, man, like, I remember talking to this girl before, right? So she was talking like, I'm a bit of slut, this, sleep. Like, hey, man, like, Queen Bees, I mean, if you talk about bees, right? The queen literally do nothing but fucking. She fucking every fucking guy in the fucking whole, in the hive, like,
And I respected that.
yeah, and bro, all the male bees fucking love that shit. Like they look up to her. So why does it have to be like instead like, oh, you're a woman, you're not supposed, just because man cannot get that amount of sex so easily. So men make up the standards for women, like you shouldn't be getting that so easily. But that at the end of the day, man, when there is a demand, you are
There's a
free
supply.
to you are free to supply.
It's just basic economics, boys.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I don't think there's no wrong or right in this, bro. Right? People can look like, oh, she used her sex sales, but there's nothing wrong with that. She can sell that because she
She
can.
has it. She's got it. So what if you
Yeah.
got it, flaunt it,
Yeah, so-
sort of thing.
Yeah. So what do you have?
And I guess it's usually ugly
A bank
people.
account.
Yeah.
A bank account.
And you can flaunt like a Jay-Z.
Yeah. Exactly. Jay-Z doesn't need to be pretty.
You know what
Yeah,
I
he
was?
doesn't.
I was thinking about today. Imagine if Jay-Z was a normal person. You know what I mean? If he wasn't super rich, and he would be like
A crip.
that guy.
Do you know what? I almost think he would be just as powerful. I think a guy like Jay-Z, a guy who I guess was born semi-unattractive, would have to, out
Yeah,
of
true,
nature,
true.
be able to excel in certain areas.
That's
Like
what
he
I'm
might
saying,
be very
yeah.
True,
charming
true,
and
true.
smooth.
Yeah.
And I think he would be a successful guy with the ladies regardless.
True.
That's what I'm saying. He'd either have to be what he is now, or he'd be like, he either has to be what he is and like excelling, or he'd just be the bottom of the barrel.
True.
He'd just be
That's
like,
true, or just giving up.
yeah, giving up.
But I can imagine a guy like Jay-Z out there without the fame or level of success, but a more balanced or average levels of success, getting a Beyonce because of his charm and because of his charisma and the things that make up for the looks.
Yeah, but
I
Yeah.
think that goes a long way. With
I
guys.
think like for like finding,
The Jay-Z album.
444.
but like finding a partner, right? For a male, right? We want somebody to take care of the family.
Yeah.
Men
Yes.
men are bad at that shit, man. Just bro, imagine if
That kid was alive 2 days before he died.
like all the dads that I see, watching the kids, they're doing the worst job ever. But the woman, they just naturally.
It comes more natural,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
and
Doesn't it?
for the woman to find a partner in a man, they want safety. So Jay-Z doesn't need to be, that successful, but as long as she make Beyonce feel safe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's a big thing.
Because
isn't it?
bro, I'm not. I have a cousin, right? She's beautiful. She's successful. She's like a manager.
She's just like my dream woman. You know what I mean? If I could just have one night, is all I want.
But bro, but
Give me one night.
here's the thing, right? My cousin, she's like beautiful. She's like a manager of a restaurant, right? She's fucking
Yeah.
successful. She's making tons of money, and her
Big, go
husband.
get her. Go big.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, man, her husband is fucking ugly, and he doesn't have any money as well. He's a teacher. He's a high school teacher, and she's fucking drive a Merc. She was the one who paid for everything, the house, the cars, shit. But he took care of the kids really well.
He's got that natural maternal
Yeah.
instincts.
I was working with a dude and it was the same thing. His wife was a doctor, right? And this guy was just
This
working.
guy's just hot.
He was alright.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just like working part time, and the thing was like he was just like, yeah, I'm just a stay at home dad, and he was just so proud to say that as well. And I was just like,
Almost respected it in a way.
I was just like, that's so kind of, yeah. I was like, that's really cool, and like, I mean, how proud he kind of was of his situation, even though it wasn't the stereotypical
Yeah.
kind of situation.
That's been my goal for the longest period of time, is to be a stay-at-home dad.
yeah.
Straight up.
100.
I think that would be the life.
Are you being for real?
I'm being 100% for real.
Are you being for real?
I'm being for real,
Real.
for
For
real,
real.
for like the
Wow.
longest time.
Are
Probably
you
being
since
for
I
real,
was
for real, for
You mean
real?
for real, for real.
For real, for real.
Yeah, but
For
for
real,
real,
for
for
real.
real.
For real, for real.
Yo, but for real, for real.
For real, for real. For real, for real.
Yo, but for real, for real. Yeah, I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home dad.
Really?
It maybe changed in the last few years a little bit more. I
That's
kind of had some more
interesting.
passions.
That's interesting.
But that was always my goal. I was like, oh, yeah, let's marry a rich woman, and I'm going to be a great father. Because I think that's the big thing with me, is I know I'd be the best father out there. I'll be
Wow.
having fun, playing games, going to the gym a little bit,
Mental
chilling.
games.
Mental game with my children, pitting them against each other.
Got like a yo-yo tying him up. doing like walk the dog around their head.
Got like the zapping thing, the big saw on that Pornhub video.
Yeah. That's cool, bro. That's cool. You know.
But I think it's something in me as well. I think I probably have more of a maternal nature.
But then what if you're with a very maternal woman?
I think that would still be great. I think we'll both just have
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then even more so, like...
They just
I don't
have
know, maybe that's the
more
goal
love.
is a 50-50.
But usually it's not the case. I think most men out there don't really have much maternal nature naturally.
Actually, man, I think this, right? So in order to raise a family, right, you need at least one person to have that nurture, you know, that nurturing nature in them.
100%.
It's either the wife or the husband or both. Both, if both of them have it, it's great. I know a lot of couples are like that. Both of them are great. They're not successful. They're not like big name making a lot of money. They're just doing normal job, you know. But they are great parents, you know, and that works in terms of raising a family. But if you look at like a lot of successful like rich family, right?
Yeah.
The parents are not the best.
They're just out there living their
Yeah.
lives, being
And
career driven,
yeah.
and the kids are at home.
And the kids will grow up with tons of problems, you know.
They usually like end up getting addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Develop, I guess, extreme depression, or usually end up killing themselves.
Yeah, because man, if you think about it, man, when a kid growing up, right, when they are little, all that they have, like as a reference point, is
Yeah.
the parents. I mean, for us, right, all that we have as a reference point, how to talk, how to walk, how to act, come from our parents.
Yeah.
But if your parents are always away, you know, they don't pay much attention, then
If you've got some
Yeah.
Jamaican nanny who's like extremely homophobic.
I think that's what Drake did. Drake had. He's grew up like my thing,
My thing, you know. We don't deal with them batty boys around here.
like that.
We stomp on the chichi man. So some Indonesian, like 14-year-old girl. Stop on chichi man. Wagwan. But that is the thing. Yeah, you usually do mimic whoever you're around. And it's always the case of the two parents who don't necessarily have the most, but they're there to love their kids.
Yeah.
End up having great kids.
Bro, and
the
that's
really
right,
rich,
yeah.
successful parents that may have like the biggest mansion, like a handful of nannies for their kids.
Yeah.
Those kids always turn up messed up.
Yeah.
Always.
Turn up on the shore. All messed up.
Turn
All
up at
kinds
Michael
of
Jackson house.
In all kinds of crazy ways. All right, well, I think that might be time, boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Today we talk about some deep stuff, huh?
Went deep.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
so keen to go to some stores and listen back to this episode. All right, well, that's been the Sausage Boys, guys, for another
Yes,
week.
sir.
Oh, that's good.
We got K-Dot.
Yo.
Yep.
We got Big Vu.
Yep.
And I'm Jackson.
And as always, we're sponsored by cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes. Facts.
What? That's what they're called.
How's I'm not even gamed? Like, I wouldn't even.
I think we've mentioned this. I wouldn't even say the word.
No, I wouldn't even. It
Yeah.
wouldn't come out of my lips.
What if
I'm
what if a British guy, you started hanging around British people?
Yeah.
So is it right? Can I have can I get a fag?
Well,
I think
get
it
a fag,
works.
innit?
I think if you say it with a
Well, then I'd
British
have sex
accent-
with him. All right, that's it, guys. That's the Sausage
Yo!
Boys. Done for another week.
Cigarettes.
See you
Buy
next
them.
wise.